The Lakers have little cap space, one first and one swap. If I'm Luka Doncic, there isn't a path to building a title team with the Lakers. Houston, San Antonio, so many other options. I'm leaving next summer.
So we have to consider that this isn't just a foregone conclusion that Luka's going to be back here. He is going to peek his head, into other rooms and see what's going on in there. Just because they traded for him, that doesn't necessarily mean, and because it's the Lakers, that he's just going to stay there. Now, because of the Lakers' history, they've shown that they will build a championship unit around their star player. They've shown that, no doubt. They have shown that. Now, the question is Luka comfortable enough to say, all right, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to let them build a championship unit around me, or do I already want to go somewhere where it's ready made? Do I want to stick around here? And because it's going to take, I feel like it's going to be, in terms of a championship unit. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a minute. I mean, I thought it was a 36-month plan with James. Now I think next year if he comes back, I think next year is the last year. When it comes to James in particular, I think next year is the last year. Do I want to go back in this with James? Or do I want to go back in this with James and see what else they're doing? Or do I want to go to an already ready-made? Because if I'm not mistaken, straighten me out, guys. I think he's a free agent at the end of the season. Like he can opt out of the last year of his deal.
Who?
Luka.
I think that's next season.
So he does have one more year left on his deal.
I think so.
Okay, so if he has one more year left on his deal, then him staying with the Lakers as of right now. I'm 26 years old. I don't think he's wasting anything, but after next year, I don't think the Lakers let him walk out the front door.
I don't think so. I know I said a minute ago that they have personnel issues, which I still agree with, but I don't think they're as far away as we're making it seem right now. Like I think a couple tweaks to the roster and they're competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're competitive now.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think this is a blow up the roster.
Some tradable salaries, which is good. And Dalton, I highly doubt is on the Lakers next year. Highly doubt.
Yeah, I'd be willing to put money on that.
Why? So he's out.
Yeah, I think Dalton.
You
I think Dalton is probably
there.
I think Dalton is probably like the key trade or one of their key trade pieces. I think if this seems like we want Dalton and we'll give you our athletic wing that can play defense, take Dalton.
I can see that.
Yeah, sure.
They almost got better by getting rid of Dalton earlier. Dalton's a
good shoot. Dalton's a really good shooter. Don't get me wrong, but it's like if we have glaring issues and they want Dalton Connect, take Dalton Connect. Like we have so much issues on our roster that's worth more than keeping Dalton Connect, in my opinion.
We tend to overvalue players that we watch a lot and undervalue players we don't watch a lot. So it kind of makes sense that you would think like some team is just out there willing to give you a 3-and-D wing for Dalton Connect.
It's not going to be straight up. It's not going to be straight up. We're going to have to attach a pick to it like we did earlier this year. It just got rescinded.
I just think you have too many holes on this roster to fill with Dalton Connect and picks. Like you need time. You know what you need? You need time. You need like a full 18 months of hitting ace. Because at some point, LeBron's gone.
Right, you don't have 18 months.
I think after next year. To be honest with you, Penn, I think after next year, that's it.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if
he quit at the end of this year.
We've been saying that
right.
We got to
speed this process up.
Yeah, the problem is you have young players, but I don't know if your young players got better. I don't know if your young players got better.
Particularly, I'm just saying that's been said for the past 5 years. Like, Bron's
that's
done.
Been the consensus. Sure, I can get with that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, at one point,
at some point,
it'll be true.
I think they're like at some point, like there's some teams out there that are actually making their young players better, like Memphis, OKC, etc. Like where there's a lot of infrastructural emphasis on development. So you might look at Jackson Hayes and be like, oh, he's a bum. You might look at Dalton Connect, oh, he's a bum. You look at Rui and be like, oh, he can't do this and he can't do that. Well, the point is, these are all young players. Some of them were lottery picks. Some of them were very highly regarded at some point. They all have holes and gaps. And, I think with playing time and development, you can actually develop these players. They're not terrible. They're obviously in the NBA for a reason. They're getting rotation minutes on a team that just went to the playoffs and was picked to win in 5 for a reason. Now that they lost in 5, now everybody wants to reverse engineer everyone as crap.
Picked them to win in 5.
This is something
a lot of people.
But this is
including
something
this
that was
dude right here.
Man, that was just bullshitting, man. Come on.
Nah, I was fully convinced of my Lakers in 5, man. I was fully convinced.
This was something like we were like talking about trading Dalton Connect this offseason before the Lakers even got into the playoffs, is because the deficiencies within on the perimeter for our defense was just bad, and we thought Dalton Connect could be somebody that we could move off of to go get in somebody that could play defense at a high level for us, whether we attach a pick to it, whether we attach another salary to it, whatever. Dalton Connect is going to be a part of the deal. So it's like I don't necessarily, because I was on the trade Dalton Connect thing before the playoffs even started, because I think there's some value to him for a team that could want to develop him. Like, I know he could be developed, and I know he could turn into a player that could be worth value in this league. It's just I don't necessarily know if it's on the Lakers.
Question, John, are you kicking the tires would you call up Indiana? How you feel about Obi Toppin in Los Angeles?
Oh yeah, that's what they need. Worst defense.
Yeah, I think he helps our transition offense. I think he's a good shooter, but we need defense. That's the thing. I'm like, I don't necessarily want more offensive players. I want some defense.
You need to find players from teams.
Would you be interested in, and this is me spitballing, I don't know the money, in Austin Reeves and Dalton Connect for some assortment of Jonathan Isaac and something else from Orlando?
I hate to step in and interrupt this intense yap session that you're currently watching, but I just have to inform you on all the amazing, spectacular, fabulous, endless ways to play and win over at Prize Picks. Basketball fans, I know the season is just tipping off. Yes, I know this. But you know what that means? It means that you have an opportunity to pick your favorite players and their matchups that are the most thrilling, and you can win money from these. With Prize Picks, you can play daily NBA contests and test your hoop knowledge by choosing the player projections and every single stat line imaginable to make your Prize Picks and take home some nice hard-earned cash. Are you a rookie in the game? Don't even sweat it. I got the playbook for you right here. All you have to do is download Prize Picks, use promo code PANEL, and you will get $50 instantly when you play 5 here with Prize Picks. So what are you waiting for? Download Prize Picks, use promo code PANEL, and join me as we break down all of our amazing daily picks right here on the panel. Prize Picks. Run your game, control your game, win your game. It's easy, baby. It's easy.
Austin Reeves?
Yes, Austin Reeves.
For Jonathan Isaac?
And some other assortment of things from Orlando. Like I said, I'm just spitballing. I don't have the trade in front of me.
If I'm letting go,
I would assume a big have to be in there. So
yeah, I'm just saying, like,
I love Jonathan Isaac.
If I'm letting go of Austin Reeves, we need a starting level big. That's what I'm looking at. Like, okay. I think the wings are probably going to have to be like guys that we can get in free agency.
What about Rui instead of Austin Reeves? And so Rui and Dalton for like a Jonathan Isaac and something else. From
the Magic can't do it. So this the Magic are capped out. The Magic are
facing. Isaac make? He makes a lot.
I think he makes like 18 million.
Rui makes like 18.
So
yeah, it's right.
The Magic have major second apron implications coming up down the line, especially when that Paolo contract kicks in. They're not going to take long-term salary. They actually have to kick some salary off.
Damn.
Here's the thing.
Jonathan Isaac's a long-term salary on the team.
John D, do the Lakers have their 2026 draft pick?
I think we have it. I don't think we can trade it. We have it. We can't trade it.
I'm not asking you to trade it. So here's what I would do. I would sell Luka on a 1-year tank. I just would.
Hell no.
Would you sell Braun on a 1-year tank?
Hell no.
I would literally.
My Jonathan Isaac idea is
I
insane,
would punt the shit out of next season. I would punt the shit out of next season, and I would just tank for the bottom. Dude, you don't know.
You got LeBron and Luka in your tanking pin? What's going on?
I would assume in this situation, LeBron ain't coming back.
What, for this next season?
Yeah,
we've already debunked that. He has to have a fair wear tour. There's too much 100%. Money on the line to not have a fair wear.
Come on,
way too much money on the line to not farewell, Brown. Like, come on, man.
Well, you can keep kicking the tire at a first round exit. The West is not getting worse with Wemby back next year. It's actually getting better.
2 years ago, just literally.
Yeah, Anthony Davis back then. Yeah,
right. And
I had a bad coach.
100%.
I mean, so can we just look at the Western Conference here for a second? You got the Dallas Mavericks. if Kyrie is back next year,
got a better player in Luka.
Won't be till January at the earliest.
Well,
okay,
Giannis-
cool.
when
The
your Giannis
playoffs don't start till
contingent on LeBron
April.
retiring, it's
Ox,
kinda like,
they're gonna
I
kick.
don't know.
They're gonna kick the Lakers' ass. The Dallas Mavericks, like a fully okay. I'm assuming that they'll.
Yes, that's because Dallas won the trade, Pin. We've all already established.
You the only one. You by yourself. You
Oh,
by
well,
yourself.
I live in a world with me and myself. So when I say everyone, I'm just talking about me.
I got you.
I'm so self-centered.
I love the self-awareness, Ox. I love it, brother.
I'm saying there's like 8 teams. If the Lakers don't get considerably better, and the problem here is it's like you're in a hole where okay, you want to appease this. Okay, we got Luka. He's a top 5 player in our minds. We got LeBron. For 1 more year or 1.5 more years or whatever we have, we gotta take whatever little assets we do have and we gotta flip it into win now pieces.
Yeah.
Right. But then the minute LeBron's gone, now you're stuck with Luka and nothing. Because you haven't really filled those, because you've traded all those young assets to get win now assets. Young players don't help you win. Right. Luka's 25, 26, right?
26, yes.
Like you gotta, if you want to sell him on a long-term vision, I gotta have you take that 1 year that Kobe, 1-2 years that Kobe took between those championships, where it was like, okay, like we are gonna have to go into asset development and asset accumulation mode for a couple years. There's no quick fix. There's no Giannis walking in through the door. Nobody. The other flip side of this is a lot of teams will have the same idea. 2026 draft is loaded. There's possibly 3 players at the top of this draft that could be like number 1 picks in most drafts. So a lot of teams are going to look to sell players that are win now players. Think PJ Washington, guys like that. They might be available for very cheap. The Lakers just have to have expiring contracts.
I actually what you're saying right now, I mean, I don't hate it. From the Kobe, like in 2005, like the 2004-2005 season when they lose Shaq and when they basically starting over, I can get with your logic.
It's the Luka show. Go out and score 30 points a game.
100%. I can definitely get with that. Here's the problem, though. The problem is number one, we got to get this right. Like this isn't something that we can tinker. We don't have time to tinker with this, because don't forget, Bryant acts out 2 years later because it was wrong. They were getting this thing wrong. And Bryant demanded out. So I don't want to be in that space with Luka where and again, we live in a way different time than we did 2005, 20 years later, where these guys are a lot less patient today than they were 20 years ago. So to ask Luka to be a part of a 1 year tank, because again, you're assuming that James isn't going to be there. Sure, I can get with that. So to ask Luka to be a part of a 1 year tank where we're gonna build this thing around you, Penn, by year 2, we gotta look like we are serious. We have to, because if we don't,
you can't tank in the year. You can't tank in the year you don't have a draft pick. So you can't tank in 2027. So if LeBron decides to, hang it up after next year, now you're going into a year where you could be really bad and you don't have your pick. Now, welcome to Brooklyn Nets hell.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
You could just compete. You got a decent roster. You could just tinker it this year. You could get a better big. You can get some wing defense. There's no need to go that far. There's no need to be thinking, well, it's not so desperate that we're trying to talk about LeBron retiring after he's potentially first team All NBA. There's no reason to have that type of conversation, y'all. This team is not that bad. There's no reason for us to be talking about nuclear bombs and things like that. Let's just regroup. You know what I'm saying? Let's just take advantage of the offseason. Let's get better. Let's get in shape. You know what I'm saying? Let's go find another big that starts so Jackson Hayes can be a backup center like he's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Let's or throw shit, whatever suits y'all. You know what I'm saying? This y'all squad. I'm definitely, but we clear. Do something like that. Let's find somebody to come replace Max Christie so we can get some more wing defense. Let's find a way to give Vanderbilt some more minutes. You know what I mean? Let's be competitive. You know what I'm saying? Let's not always lose. Let's not lose in the playoffs and be like, you know what, fuck it. Let's tank.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying? Let's waste a Luka Doncic year when he's 26. You know what I'm saying? Let's hope that Bron retires.
Yeah, let's get him in shape for a year, Ox. Let's get
Oh
him
my
in
God, we're
condition.
not going to get him in shape by tanking. Ben, we're not tanking with Luka Doncic. Like this is crazy.
And by the way,
you
and by the way, Ox, and I'm
No.
sure that you noticed there's a certain guy up in Sacramento that's having problems with his lady. So maybe we might be able to. We
Yo,
might
relax,
be able to.
chill.
He ain't
You having
exactly.
problems with your lady?
He ain't exactly.
Never.
I ain't saying that he
Never
want to break up.
Problems with my ladies.
I
Never.
ain't saying he want to break up, Ron, but I'm saying he ain't exactly happy with what's going on. He needs some
Dude, that
clarity.
was funny. That was funny. That was funny
Demontis
last month.
and Luka?
That's not funny no more.
I'm sorry.
Oh
That's
my
not-
God.
I'm sorry, Ox. I apologize, but my man needs some clarity on what we're doing moving forward. So, I got this shiny new house over
Since
here.
we're
and-
taking it there, there's a
I'm
guy in
saying.
Milwaukee. There's a guy in Milwaukee having problems with his lady.
All right,
Call
so I'm
him.
out.
Get him
I'm
on the
out.
phone.
I can't handle that, John D. I can't
He's
handle
a lot.
that.
That dude in Milwaukee, to be honest with you, that dude in Milwaukee, I think it's a lot. It's going to be more difficult to pry him away than the dude up in Sacramento. I think so.
Yo,
Yeah.
Ox. But to your point,
Mhm.
when speaking of Giannis, when we were talking about the Bucks, I completely disagree. I think the Bucks need to blow that house up and build a new one. But when we're talking about the Lakers, I think this is a huge overreaction. I really do. You're running it back with two guys who are first team All NBA caliber guys. Now, one of them obviously is going to be 41.
Neither one of them are top 5 players.
Who established that? On whose list?
Mars
On
Mars
Mars's
Talk
list.
Sports.
No.
Mars looks like Mars
universally plays like this,
LeBron,
he's not a top
yeah,
5
he's
player.
not. What I said was the Luka that we saw this season wasn't top 5.
Hey,
Yes, and I agree with you.
Okay,
That's
and the Luka,
all I'm saying.
and I'm willing to bet that the Luka Doncic we see next year is top 5. And I'm willing to bet.
Even
and I'm
so,
willing
I'm
to
willing
bet.
to bet you're wrong.
Bron's going to be
Just like
knocking
you've
on
been
the
wrong
I'm
about
Luka's
that.
not going to be
He's
top
not a
5
I'm
player.
willing to bet that
Wait,
shit,
Ron,
Ron.
He's been
Ron,
there
that
all
doesn't
year.
matter, Ron. Ron, you don't have
I don't typically say this on the panel. Shut up. Shut up. Luka's not going to be top
You know, the
5
more you
next year.
cap, the
Yes,
more
he
you
will. Yes,
disappear
he will.
on
You
the
don't,
background,
you
right?
Yes, he will.
you don't have to be top. You don't have to be top 5. Though.
Shut up.
You don't have to be top 5. How many? Regardless if you're top 5 or not, that's just the number that we're choosing. That means nothing. Top 5 isn't a big deal. There's 30 teams in NBA. I want to know of those 30 teams, how many of them guarantee have 2 top 12 players in the league?
That's not how
Top
we
12.
Guaranteed.
Forget about the players. Talk about the team.
I'm just saying. You just said that. You just said the top. You just said the top 5. So I'm gonna keep with that. You just said y'all were talking about top 5 players. You just said that they don't have one top 5 player. Who cares, right? That's not important. How many teams in the NBA have 2 top 12 players regardless?
Well, think about the top 12 players in the game.
Just them.
Yeah.
Just the Lakers, right? Just
Mhm.
Lakers. So I think when you have that, you have a core to build around. Obviously, that's not enough. I understand how basketball works. I know that you can't just have 2 top 15, 2 top 10 players and then be like, oh, we're gonna win it all. You have to build around that. What I'm saying is, when we can't talk about this team like they have no hope for next season like this. And you know what I'm saying? I think it's ridiculous that on the day that the Lakers get sent to Cancun, I have to be up here defending them. Like, I think we can just keep it real so that I can hate on the Lakers. If y'all five can just keep it real about the Lakers, I can hate on them. You know what I'm saying? But since y'all are up here saying nonsense, I got to defend the Lakers on this day, and it really hurts my heart.
None of us said other than Penn for them to go tank.
I never.
Well, I hear that. I disassociate that with
group us all
everybody.
into that. None of us said tank.
Yeah.
I'm disassociating that with everybody. This is crazy to me that this is a conversation we're having.
Look, the reality is, there's 8 teams that make the playoffs every year. Now you can go sell yourself on the same hookah or drugs that Matt Ishbia is smoking, where it's like, okay, well, we're a great roster. We have these great 2 players. Congratulations, you not in the playoffs, and you want to beat the Phoenix Suns. Go right ahead. Follow what Ox is saying. But the reality of the situation is there are teams that are younger, better, and deeper that have more assets, and they are going to be in prime positions to pick up reinforcements this offseason when those terrible ass teams start selling to tank in 2026. The Lakers have to pick a side at this point. You want to compete? Cool. Show me you can build a roster around Luka and LeBron without completely gutting your future assets.
the thing is, when we got Luka, it was a week before the trade deadline. Like now we have an entire offseason to build around the two. Like
and an
now we
entire
have
season for them to
But
build
your
up some
roster
chemistry.
doesn't make sense. Your roster doesn't make
But that
sense for
doesn't mean
anybody.
go for the
You have
number one
3 different
pick.
rosters, John D. You have a roster that's built for LeBron. You have a roster that's made for Luka, and you have a roster that can be coached by JJ Redick.
Okay,
I
so
don't
can
think
we
this doesn't make sense. You got to
so
pick a
can we
side
agree
here.
that we got Luka a week before the trade deadline, and Luka at the time,
You were gifted.
whether you
Luka.
think gifted, traded, snatched him up, kidnapped him, whatever, he's a Laker. He's a Laker now.
Mhm.
We had a week before the trade deadline, one, and then it's not like we were preparing to get Luka Doncic. You know, we get the call and it's like, this is an offer we can't pass up on. We'll worry about everything later. This is the later. This is the offseason where it's like, now we have a chance to really build around Luka Doncic. I believe let's get an offseason, maybe 2, where we can try and build a championship team around Luka. I just don't think tanking with somebody who's supposed to be a top 5, whether you think he's a top 5 player in the NBA, whether you think he can get back to that level, even then, I think it's worth building a proper team around him, because we can all agree coming into the playoffs, this was not the best situation for Luka Doncic. So let's take this offseason. Let's try and build around him the best we can. Let's see what happens next year, and we continue to build off what we have.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. You're the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.